Hey, it's Super Tom, brother. It has been a while since I did a video. Um, as you can see, I have collected quite a few gaming consoles over the years. One of the things I've been doing lately is collecting Japanese games. Super Famicom and Famicom. This here is a myarcade cartridge converter. Allows you to play Famicom games on your original NES. This is a bootleg game with a bunch of games built in. Works pretty good. This is essentially the same thing for the Famicom, but it has different games on it. Like, you're never going to find two bootleg carts with the same games on them, unless they have the exact same label. But in order to play this game, as well as my other Famicom games, as you can see, I have Atari games to go with that 2600 you saw as well. But to play my Famicom games, I have gone through many different ways of trying to play them. The first thing I did was buy this converter to play on my toaster style NES. Let's turn on the TV. And of course, NES games never work the first time. You have to fiddle with them. Well, it can be hard to adjust things and hold this phone at the same time. Ha! And there is the bootleg screen. Super 164 in 1. This does work with legitimate Famicom cartridges as well. But just the fact that it works is fine. That's not my problem. Here's my problem. This thing has a death grip on cartridges. It took quite a bit of effort to pull that out of there. It doesn't just pop right out. You gotta fucking get your fingernails in there and really pull. And this is a bootleg cart, so this is cheaply made. I've actually had to tape or glue a piece back into place. I can't remember. It's right there. Yeah, it's taped. That's taped. So a bootleg cart, you might be thinking, well, that's not a big deal. If that breaks, I'll just get another one. But let's say you want to play a legit game. This here is Popeye for the Famicom. It's the Pulse Line version. from what I've been able to see, I don't know if Popeye was released in a picture label version. It might have been pulse line only. But here it is in the converter. A legit Popeye cartridge. I also have legit cartridges of Donkey Kong Jr., what's it called? That Japanese Transformer game that the nerd played. I can't remember what it's called. Let's call it Transformers on the Famicom. I have let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 legit Famicom games and 3 bootleg carts. And every time I put one of them in this converter, it gets stuck. Especially with full-size Famicom carts. Come on. You hear that? Hear that creaking? That sounds bad to me. I don't want to risk that one of these times that I put this in there, it's going to tear my cartridge apart. I just had to use both hands to pop that out of there. So this thing has a death grip on Famicom cartridges. So, because this is a risk of damaging your Famicom cartridges, I wouldn't recommend buying one of these, especially if you plan on buying just one and swapping out which cartridges inserted. And frankly, if you wanted to buy a converter cartridge for every single Famicom game you have, that could get expensive quickly, because that would mean you'd have to buy a game for about $20 and then spend another $15 on a converter, which at that point, you might as well be buying in the American version of the game. And if the version doesn't have an American version, it's probably going to be way more expensive, because region exclusives are not cheap. Region exclusives are not cheap. To remedy this, I bought a second converter. At first, this seems pretty easy. You just pop the cartridge in at the top. Like this. Bit of a problem though. I have a toaster style NES. And this bump right here makes it impossible to fully insert the cartridge into the North American NES. This is designed for the top loader, which I don't have. And it would also work in one of the many clone consoles like the Retron 1, 2, or 3. But again, my Retron 3 is broken, and I don't have a top loader. So this quickly went from useful to useless the moment the capacitor died on my Retron 3. Because it won't fit in the toaster NES. But a picture's worth 1,000 words. So I plug that in, and nope, it won't go down. Doesn't that suck? It won't go down. So, for me at least, this second converter I bought is useless. So to continue using Popeye as an example, what was the next thing I did? I'm keeping it in a shoebox. It's kind of... I bought a clone Famicom console. This thing. It looks like a real Famicom, almost. But it is not. This thing is designed with AV, which to me made me think, perfect. This is exactly what I want. It looks like a Famicom, and it uses AV. And the controllers are replaceable, using the same 9-pin ports as a Sega Genesis or Atari 2600. So I thought, maybe these controllers would work on an Atari 2600. Nope, they do not. And Atari and Sega controllers do not work on this console either. From a visual and physical standpoint, there's nothing wrong with this system on the outside. But on the inside, the system plays horribly. The sound is bad. I'm holding it in my hand, so obviously it's not hooked up. I will do a part 2 of this video showing like the horrible sound quality of this Famiclone. I mean, I shouldn't have to tell you this. Most of these clones of Famicom systems have horrible sound. My ultimate conclusion was I'm going to buy a Famicom AV. And so I purchased one, and it's coming in the mail, as well as 2 new Famicom games, Devil World and Donkey Kong 3. That way I have the complete Famicom Donkey Kong trilogy. The spin-off, Donkey Kong Jr. Math, is also cheaper in Japanese, so I might get that too. Although it's not much of a game, so probably not. It's just math. Popeye's Hangman, I'd probably get that though. Anyway, all in all, like, I've gone through several things trying to get Famicom games to play correctly on my TV. And the best option happens to be, out of what I currently own, this son of a bitch that grips my cartridges like death itself. So if you plan on buying Japanese exclusive games because they're cheaper, just know you're going to need one of these to play it on an American system, and that will ultimately raise the price and negate the need to buy the Japanese game in the first place. So if you're buying Japanese games, just buy a Japanese console to go with it. It'll save you a lot of headaches. This has been Super Tom Brother. Ooh. Somebody's in trouble. There's Matt McMuscles on the TV. There's a GameCube with Game Boy Player. Wii and Wii U both modded to play emulators. Genesis, Super Nintendo, and NES Minis. The Atari fucking Retron 77. Xbox One with stickers on it. PS2 with stickers on it. PS4, NES, Switch stock in the background. Super Nintendo, Genesis Model 1, and I believe this is the original wood grain Atari 2600, but there's so many models of that I can't really keep track. Just a little show and tell to end things. This is a Pocket Go S30, a pretty good emulator system. This is my new 2DS XL. And a neat little tin case shaped like a Game Boy that I put USB drives in. And just a little personal thing about me. I am lactose intolerant, and I have to take 4 of these pills every time I eat something. So if you thought these videos were a little impersonal, hey, private information lets you think, is a nice guy. He's willing to talk to people. This has been Super Tom Brother. See you another time.